In the beginning, it was a bit of a shock. I remember I had to spend 2 weeks in quarantine all by myself because I was flying before the lockdown was imposed. So a lot of time to rethink and reevaluate, maybe like a time of reset. Which both professionally and personally was really useful. I think on the personal side, it's great because you're spending more time with the family. You're closer to the family, having family dinners. I'm spending more time with my daughter. While professionally, what's going on is you're overcompensated by communicating more. I remember I even made a list with all my contacts, with all the people I need to talk to. I didn't want to forget anything. I think what's good in this is that it made us more present, more aware, more structured, more disciplined. In a way approaching communication in a more intentful manner. That's hard to say, but I hope so. I think the crisis has brought the best and the worst out of people, and it applies to the creative community as well. And in a way, it has accelerated a lot of the existing trends. So you have this trend of doing purpose-driven work and of being sensitive to the context and reacting to the context. And then you have such an overwhelming issue that everyone is confronted with. So basically, it's like everyone is working out of the same brief. Add to that the fact that you cannot go out and shoot, so everyone is working with stock footage and stock music and voiceovers. So you kind of obtain a crisis of creativity. What I think is to learn from this is that brands that have a clear purpose, brands that have clear values and a clear vision, don't fall into this trap. I'll get very Eastern European on this one. There was a half joke at the beginning of the crisis on the internet that Eastern Europeans have something to teach the world about how they manage the crisis. They've been there, they've done that. We lived in a world of closed borders, empty shops, and hoarding of essentials like toilet paper, if you remember the beginning of the crisis. But there's another truth in this is, living and growing up in Eastern Europe, you learn how to live with the crisis as a day-to-day reality. And there are some strategies that could be useful in days like we're living right now. The first one being that it's important to let yourself lead by your values and by your purpose. Secondly, you have to behave like a challenger. Think that you're a challenger. In front of the crisis, I think everyone is a challenger, and because the virus is such an overwhelming force. And I think the last thing is assume that change is permanent and is going to surprise you the next time. So have to be prepared not only with the plan A and plan B, but also plan C and plan D. Remote working is a blessing. To be honest, for people like me who were traveling a lot, it saves a lot of time. It makes us more efficient and more discipline as well. I think there is another advantage of remote working, especially if you're working in a global network like we do. There's no space in remote working. There's no sense of space and sense of time even. You know, this crisis paradoxically has isolated us but brought us closer than ever before. And it's testament to the powerful community that we have at McCann. One last thing, I think it's really important to acknowledge the creativity, what I call the uninstitutionalized creativity, creativity of the random people of the internet. And we've seen that, especially in the early days of the lockdown, when in order to deal basically with the same brief that everyone was dealing with, and with feelings like boredom and loneliness, and could be simply Zoom fatigue. In order to deal with that, people have created amazing ideas, whether it was this family that recreated the famous music videos, or this guy that makes a bot to deal with the boredom of Zoom meetings. They inspired us, or they should inspire us to do better.